the only 5-minute ICT trading strategy you need to become profitable. ICT himself said this is a high win rate trading strategy that he briefly mentioned on Twitter. Now, his video is about 50 minutes long, so I'm going to be breaking down this strategy in under 10 minutes. Let's get started. So we're going to be going over the rules and then the model and then the chart example towards the end of the video. Let's get started. So the time window we're going to be trading is between 6 p.m. till 4 a.m. New York time, and I know it rolls over to Asia session and people will say, oh well, you know, there's low volatility in the market. Is it worth trading? Yes, it is, and I'll show you exactly why it's worth it on the charts after I do this model. Personally, from my own backtesting, I've seen it give over an 85% win rate, and the TPs can range anywhere from a 1 to 3, 1 to 5, even a 1 to 10. Obviously, it's less likely for a 1 to 10, more on the risky side, but obviously you can catch a 1 to 3 or even a 1 to 5, which is pretty good. So the rules. So you want to mark out the most recent high and low before 6 p.m. New York time. Once you've done that, once your time window starts of 6 p.m, you want to drop down to the 5 minutes time frame, and then you want to wait for the sweep of the high or the low, and then you wait for a market structure shift followed by a fair value gap, which you're going to be taking your entry off. And remember, we're going to take our entries only on the 5 minutes time frame. We mark out our high and low on the 15 minutes time frame. Now let's move over to the model example. So I'm going to mark out my high and I'm going to mark out my low. Now this is a model example, obviously it's not the chart example, so we're going to play a scenario. So let's assume price goes ahead and takes out this low right here. Right, once that low has been taken, we want to wait for a market structure shift. So let's assume price goes ahead and gives us that market structure shift. I'll mark out the market structure shift right now. And remember, for the trade to be valid, we need a fair value gap. So let's assume there's a fair value gap as well, right here. And remember guys, you have to enter the trade within the time window, but if you're holding the trade and you've already entered the trade, you can continue to hold even if it's outside the time window. So next thing you want to do is set your long position and target the highs and stop loss below these lows. Now once again, let's assume price goes ahead and drops below into this fair value gap, continues moving, consolidates. As we are in Asia session, it can consolidate quite a bit before hitting your TP, but eventually we hit TP, and that would be a 1 to 3.5 risk to reward. As mentioned before, you can hit a lot of 1 to 3s with this strategy. Now that you've got a better understanding, I'm going to be moving over to the chart example so I can actually show you how to actually apply the strategy rather than just the model, as it looks pretty simple. So before we move ahead, if you are interested in getting your FTMO account passed, you already know how to trade, you don't want to go through phase 1 and phase 2, you can use our AI trading bot, which actually passed an account recently on the 25th of April, and we can go ahead and confirm that on FTMO's website. As you guys can see, 200k account was passed, and you can use the bot on the live account as well, but if you want to manually trade, you can also do that. But in terms of passing, you can pass your account pretty quick using the bot. Carl here passed his account in under 2 weeks. You can see his testimonial right here. He passed it in under 2 weeks. If you're not sure whether this trading bot is for you and you want more information regarding it, you can book a free 30-minute consultation call, and one of our team members will guide you through it. Everything is linked in the description, so be sure to get it checked out. Now let's move over to the example. So I've marked out my time window, which is between 6 p.m. New York time till 4 a.m. New York time. So make sure your time zones are New York UTC4. So what we can see is the highs here and the low here. This is our recent high and this is our recent low. Now this high has been taken, and we wouldn't enter the trade as there's no fair value gap, there's no market structure shift, and most importantly, we're not in the time window of 6 p.m. But if we, or when we do enter the time window, that's when we'll look to take the trade based off this high and this low. So let's see what happens. Okay, so obviously we enter the 6 p.m. time window and prices continue to move towards the upside. And now what we're going to do is drop down to the minutes time frame, or we can stay on the 5 minutes time frame. So we're going to continue on the 5 minutes time frame, and let's see what happens. So we do get a market structure shift right here, and what we're going to do is simply mark out this market structure shift. And I can also spot a fair value gap right here. So we would enter off either fair value gaps, either this one or that one. This is a small one, not really that clear, so you can enter off this one. So we've tapped into this fair value gap. We simply put our short position down right here, stop loss at the highs, and we're going to be targeting these lows down here. And you can see it is a 1 to 6 risk to reward if we hit take profit. Like I mentioned before, between a 1 to 3, a 1 to 5, or even a 1 to 10. So let's see what happens. So like I mentioned before, we're going to consolidate quite a bit. The reason being, we are overlapping with a recession, which, you know, it tends to happen. We get a lot of consolidation. Reason being, we are obviously low volatility. But as you guys can see, we did end up hitting take profit and price continued to drop. As I mentioned before, you can hit a 1 to 10. We hit a 1 to 9 if we were to have continued to hold. Let's see if it goes any lower. I mean, we're out of the trading hours, but we hit our the main thing is we hit our take profit within the trading window hour. Obviously, you can continue to hold your trade out of the time window, but it's always recommended to close your profits and secure them within the time window. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments, and also be sure to check out the links below.